L'David Hashem Ori V'Ishi Mimi Yira. In this kahal we say it all year long, so you have a lot of zechuyot. That's why you live till you're 95. A lot of communities say it between Rosh Chodesh Elul until after the end of Sukkot. And the Midrash says Ori be Rosh Hashanah, the light on Rosh Hashanah, Yish'i beyom HaKippurim, my salvation on Yom Kippur. So there's a sense of bringing this Mizmor Tehillim of having light and having Yeshua and having salvation. And there's a few things that we can take notice of as we're really focusing on the tefillot this year. There's a notion that's brought in the Gemara that Utshuva, Utfilah, Utzdaka, Ma'avirin, Etra, Agzira. There are three elements that we can each connect to, either all three of them, or if some more than others. Tshuva, really retrospection and doing tshuva, correcting our actions. Tefillah is prayer and really getting into it and understanding the prayer, and through the prayer it's a channel of connection to Hashem. And tzedakah, and acts of kindness, of chesed, ma'avirin et ra gzira, they somehow nullify or remove anything bad that we may have done that may be standing between us and our beracha, us and our prayers to be answered, us and the connection that we really want with Hashem. Those three things somehow have a magical, radical change that they create within the person. Tefillah, tshuva, and tzedakah, ma'avirin et ra gzira. That's why this morning I chose to share these three concepts with you, that we may find space in our day, in our life, in our week, in our thinking, to be able to bring more of these into our next 3 weeks before Rosh Hashanah. Tshuva, tefillah, and tzedakah. If it has to do with tshuva, what is tshuva? Tshuva is something that's quite personal. Each one has an understanding of it in their own way. Each one wants or needs to work on different things. But one item that I thought of when we were doing slichot this morning, it's really interesting. Maromi meromim, which means from the greatest heights of the heavens, of the heavenly spheres, and we can't even imagine what that is up there. The greatest of your imagination, of the peak, of the climax of Shamayim, Hashem is beyond that. Maromi meromim, whatever you can think of, He's even more than that. But He's looking, He's merachem, He has compassion al agumim, on us that we're low over here. And He's dolenu mimtzulot, He's going to the very depth of where we are physically, emotionally, spiritually, or where our heart is, and He's going all the way down there. And it really struck me that we can connect to such a high magnitude of an understanding of what Hashem is, where Hashem is, to the best of our imagination. And the greatness that Hashem rests in is so great, and that magnitude is so vast, that it's able to drop itself down and find us where we are in our place, and in the lower places that we're in. And also in the lowness that we understand that we may have sometimes, and that we may want to bring up. La'alot et hashchina, to bring up the divinity. And I think that's something that we're focusing on the tefillot, and certainly in this month. And a quick halacha, there is minhag, two minhagim that you may not, I haven't done this every year, and we'll end off with this. One is that people go to the mikveh before Rosh Hashanah, or before Yom Kippurim. Rationalist thinkers really don't apply this very much, but it's a minhag. Going to the mikveh before Rosh Hashanah. Some people go every Erev Shabbat, some people go before Yom Kippur, some people never go. You don't have to go ever. Even if you go, you don't say a bracha on it. One time I went to a lake with someone and they were going to the mikveh and they said a bracha. Okay, you're not supposed to say, they didn't know. They said Shechianu. Okay. There's no bracha. But when you go in there, it does something to you spiritually, maybe emotionally, and especially if you connect it, like the Rambam says in Yichot Mikveh, that the real mikveh is the mikveh of the mind. That's the real mikveh. You can purify yourself just with purification, with cognitive purification. That you go and you just elevate yourself. You go and you just immerse yourself in holy waters of your mind. And that's one thing that we have. So either physically or just cognitively, but I would also probably recommend, there's a beautiful lake here. Wherever you go, you can't hide from the waters. You just jump in the water with your bathing suit, and you don't have to do anything else. And that, by the way, that's halakha. Just go in, you can have a bathing suit and it's kasher. Why not? Do it before. Who knows? It helps. And then the second thing is that there's a minhag. Again, it's not mandatory. People don't normally, they don't have to do it. But there's a minhag in some communities, and this goes way back, I saw a reference of Rabbi David Cohen that he brings it from the Kaf HaChaim, and he says that some communities would fast. Some people would fast on Erev Rosh Hashanah. Do you have to? No. If it really kills you, don't do it. But they have a minhag of fasting on Erev Rosh Hashanah, and he brings that some pious people would fast Erev Rosh Hashanah, the eve of Rosh Hashanah, right? And then maybe another level would be another grouping of people that would try to fast on a couple of selective days on the 10 days of Tshuva, Aseret Yemei Tshuva, which is actually 7 between Rosh Hashanah and Kippur. You have 7 days, also over there. And then everybody fasts on Yom Kippur. So he brings a mashal that there's a little village that hasn't paid their taxes for a very, very long time. So they send messengers, they send emissaries, new letters, chariots, a guy with a horse. Nothing doesn't work. The king says, you know what, I had enough. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Now they're already hearing the great army and the battalion coming from over the hill, like on the ground, and they're hearing it. So they start sending. They send like a group of very notable people to greet the king, just to make him relax, just calm him down a bit. So the first grouping that they sent to the king, he says, you know what? I'll forgive you for 33% of the bill. Don't worry, it's fine. Okay, yeah, you're so nice. They give him a little gift. Here, please, Your Honor, we love you. You just know it's hard for us. Okay, 33% off, a shlish, 1/3, I'll give. Then he gets a little bit closer. Then like, okay, send another group. Let's go. Send more people. He's getting closer. He's gonna, okay, send maybe people that are maybe more noble. So you get like really great people, and they come and they greet the king. And he says, wow, so great. You brought me more gifts, and I really see that you're sincere about your love to me. Another third, another 33%. And I go, and then they said, look, we still owe a lot of money, another third for all those years of taxes we haven't paid. Let's get all women, men, children, elderly, everyone, bring your cats and dogs. Let's just go and greet the king and just show him that we love him and that we're sorry, and all we want is to be in good standing with him. And everybody comes like, okay, fine. And that's really the same thing. Maybe on Erev Rosh Hashanah, it's the first batch of people that come to Hashem and say, we're fasting, which means that we're really trying to let go of all the physical pleasures that we may have and just put more focus on spiritual, just to connect to you, not for any other reason. But maybe only a selective number of people do that. And then on the 10 days of, or the Aseret Yemei Tshuva, the 7 days between Rosh Hashanah and Kippur, it's easier to do that, maybe a half a day, an hour here, an hour there, fasting. It could also be Tani Dibur, not speaking Lashon Hara, different things that are connected to elevating us. Okay, then Hashem is even more open to really forgive and then on Yom Kippur, everybody comes and everybody's fasting and everybody's coming towards Hashem and saying, please, we love you, we just want to connect to you. And Hashem is really Mochel V'Solach, forgives and gives us a new open slate for the New Year's. That's what the Midrash says, that on Sukkot, Rishon Hu, Le'avonot, Le'bchilat Avonot, Le'Reshimat Avonot. It's the first day to the counting of the sins. What does that really mean? That after Yom Kippur and after all these days, we're clean, we have a clean slate, 100%. Like the Rambam says, if you don't believe that Yom Kippur really, really works, then it's not going to work. You just have to really sincerely believe that, as irrational as it may seem to us, Yom Kippur works. It's like you just have to go through the clock on Yom Kippur with some intent and for tshuva, for a new beginning, and it works. So we're all going to be, right after Yom Kippur, absolutely clean, fresh, new start and beginning. And that's why on Sukkot, Rishon Hu, Leminyan Avonot, it's the first day that you start like afresh, you start new, and these things really work. So tshuva, tefillah, and tzedakah, ma'avir, netra, gzera, these 3 elements are for us to focus. And these forthcoming days, B'ezrat Hashem, we should have a ketivah, v'chatima tova, and a shavua tova.